Minister, I want to congratulate your government for recently agreeing to launch an expedited review of Canada's breast screening guidelines through the Canadian Task Force on Preventive Healthcare. Up to now, for several years, experts, patients, physicians, and researchers have called the current guidelines, quote, outdated and dangerous, end quote, and have called for the immediate intervention in the review process. They've noted that problems with the existing guidelines are, quote, driven by a strong anti-screening agenda of task force leadership and persistent use of 60-year-old studies. We note that today, or recently, Ontario noted that women aged 40 to 49 who have mammograms are 44% less likely to die of breast cancer than those who don't. Minister, what steps, if any, is your government taking to address those concerns?
These are important questions. I'm going to turn to Heather Jeffrey, if I could.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for the question. We believe the issue of breast cancer screening and the guidelines is really preeminent importance to Canadians. That's the reason why we put in place a knowledge exchange forum, which took place with scientific experts from across the screening continuum to bring their experience to the table, as well as those with lived experience with breast cancer. We've opened a portal to allow all researchers and Canadians in general to contribute the latest research. And the review panel of the task force is currently doing an expedited review of the guidelines, considering all of the evidence, including the latest real-time evidence.
Thank you. Back to the breast screening guidelines. In May 2023, before the expedited review of those guidelines had even started, Dr. Guylaine Thériault, a member of the Canadian Task Force, told the Toronto Star that she does not see any reason to change the guidelines. In addition, the task force working group has reportedly started to vote upon recommendations, even though the evidence review is incomplete. Can you assure us, Minister, that you will act to ensure that any bias in the task force on the breast screening guidelines is effectively removed so that Canadian women can get the best evidence available and the best breast screening guidelines that they can?
Well, I think it's fair to say, through you, Mr. Chair, that we are absolutely committed to making sure that the breast screening guidelines are as strong as possible and that they protect women across this country. I share your concern in this area and look forward to working with you to that objective.
Thank you. Quickly, I don't know if you've had a chance to review this, but it seems the gold standard is to recommend mammograms for women between 40 and 49. Is that something that you're prepared to move towards on a national basis?
You know, I think, again, I can commit to having a continued conversation and for us to continue to look at this. I think we share the top line objective. How we get to that can be a continued conversation.
Thank you, Minister.